All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Report for Tugger Mountain. We're going to talk to Dave Murphy here today, who was at the Patriots rally and was attacked by the thugs in Antifa and the Palestinian protesters. We'll get to the bottom of all that today, and we'll do an exclusive interview. Thank you for joining us, mate.
Thanks, Richard.
Let's go. Welcome to the Report from Tiger Mountain. Today we've got a special interview with Dave Murphy, who, believe it or not, went to primary school with me. We're here in the dangerous hood of Lower Templestowe, which we both grew up in, and the dangerous streets. It was the hood back in the day, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
Actually, it was pretty safe streets, and we had a great childhood. We did. Running around and
when the street lights came on, we went home.
Exactly, correct.
No one knew where we were all day.
All day, and we spent the day playing and running around. And I started making films when I was about 10, and
pretty sure I was in one of the.
I'm pretty sure you were in one of my movies as well. So this is an interesting interview for me because many of you might have seen some footage on the weekend of a Patriot who was basically just trying to make his way to the August 31 rally, and he was basically beaten up by a bunch of left-wing Antifa types and some Palestinian protesters. That person is Dave, who's here with me today. So we'll talk about that incident in a minute, but tell us a little bit about yourself and your full name and all that stuff and whatever else you want to say to people.
I don't know. My name's Dave Murphy. I'm no one exceptional, mate. I'm just became a butcher out of school and worked my way through life. I've had my struggles and stuff growing up, and suffered addiction for a lot of years myself, and beat that.
You're sober now, so
beat that 3 years ago, and
you're a patriot.
I am a patriot.
Yep.
I love my country. My grandfather fought in New Guinea, and
so did mine.
My great grandfather fought in the First World War.
What was his name?
My grandfather was Sergeant Alfred Simmons.
Alfred Simmons,
yes.
And was he ground troops or?
He was second Pioneer Battalion.
Yep, that's the ground troops.
Yeah.
My grandfather was Alec Mackay, and he fought in the RAAF. Yep. So he bombed the living shit out of the Japanese up around there, and he used to tell me all these stories about, one time they got these intelligence that there were going to be all these Japanese watching a propaganda film, in some movie theatre, and so he flew in there and bombed the living shit out of it. I think he got the whole lot of them, mate. So
lovely,
there you go.
My grandfather actually
the good old days,
went AWOL.
Where's your drink?
My grandfather actually went AWOL to come and see my mum before he went
Aussie grandfathers, mate. There it is.
True patriots who fought for our country.
I know, and I think, growing up as we did in the 70s, I think we're born in the same year. You're born in 1969, aren't you?
68.
68.
Late December.
You're about 6 months older than me. And I was born in the 69, you're born in 68. So we grew up in essentially what's called the real Australia, mate. Yeah. You remember the 70s, mate.
I do, mate. It was gold.
It was gold. Great time. And the 80s as well,
It was, mate. You didn't have a care in the world.
No care in the world. And there was a limited multiculturalism in those. It's not like there were particularly Italians and Greeks, but they're European anyway, and they fitted into our culture. They're a little different, but they did fit in.
Had a few Asians here and there, but
we're the odd.
Not until like the Vietnamese came. But I mean, I've got no problem with immigration and
with
stuff.
Legal immigration.
And people who want to integrate into our society. I'm fine with that. But.
Yeah, and I've had friends. Obviously, I run nightclubs, and I've had a lot of experience with different kinds of people from around the world who've come here legally, and most of them embrace our values. And I mean, that's the reason they came here, because of our values.
That's right.
But those values are based on European culture. I mean, sure, the Aborigines as well, and many of us respect the Aborigines. We don't wish them any harm. Obviously, they are the original Australians. No one doubts that.
No.
But, they are also a people that didn't do particularly a lot with this country, in the sense that they didn't build roads, they didn't build houses, they didn't build hospitals, they didn't build airports. I mean, that's true. It's up to us to do a lot of that. Yeah. And and they're allowed to ride on them, aren't they? I mean? So they get some benefits, of being here, like education and hospitals and Centrelink and everything. You know what I mean?
True.
So there you go. So tell us a little bit about August 31. How did you first hear about the rally?
Just online. I mean, all the social media, I only really do Facebook, so saw it on there, and
we're Facebook
gathered a couple of friends to go. One of my mates that I've known for a long time, and I work with, and he's a 60-year-old Italian. So and then one of my daughter's friends from primary school, who's a family friend, so, I mean, it's hardly the Nazi freaking hit squad that I took with me on the day.
Yep.
We just tried to...
so were you wearing an Aussie flag or are you wearing something?
I was wearing just a black hoodie with Puma, big Puma written across the front. So...
You know, so tell us, you were trying to make it to the Patriots rally.
Yeah.
And you saw the Antifa...
The Antifa rally ahead, and I said to my mate...
Palestinians, and they're dangerous. You know, I mean, you've seen them commit violence before. Particularly in America, they've hurt people. But you thought you'd just give it a go.
Skirt along,
through the gauntlet, so
yeah. I kind of... I said to my mate, it wasn't a wise move, but I thought I'll do it anyway because, I don't know, I thought maybe they might let us walk through, but when the whole crowd suddenly turned and chanted Nazi, I realised I was in a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah. So you walked through, and then what gave them away that you were heading?
Oh, obviously I was dressed in black. So
dressed in black, they thought you were...
So I was a Nazi, obviously. Anyone who's dressed in black...
But you weren't part of the National Socialist
God, no.
Network.
I mean, never have been. I mean...
Did you have a thing underneath that was like an Aussie...
Yeah, underneath that. Once they tore my hoodie off, they dragged me up the road by my hoodie at one stage, and that ended up being torn off me, and that's where I had the Australian...
So who hit you first? Was it a Palestinian or an Antifa?
The first thing was a little pink-haired girl come and grabbed hold of my flag.
Really?
And, tried to...
Oh, you're carrying a flag.
And
so that's how they recognise you.
Yeah, there's people run and rip the flag.
Because there are black people that are involved in the left.
The flag and all that.
Why do the left hate the flag, mate?
I don't know, mate.
Why do Palestinians hate the flag?
I don't know. I mean, aren't we helping them? I don't know.
Well, Australia sends a lot of money to Palestine.
That's what I mean.
It really made no sense. And I don't think there were a lot of people at the Patriots rally who particularly hated the Palestinian movement necessarily.
No.
But then I was noticing that there was a lot of kind of Palestinian demonstrators. But I spoke to a Muslim Australian friend of mine who, is a relation. He said, well, you'll notice it wasn't actually proper Muslims. This was just left-wing protesters
That's
wearing those headscarves.
I think mainly
like Antifa.
There was a couple of Muslims.
There'll be a couple.
There was a couple in there that gave it to me, but mainly they saved me, Richard. I mean, honestly.
Did they?
The Muslims saved me.
They
did. They protected me. They encircled me and protected me. Yeah. So I am thankful for them. For that.
The pink-haired woman got you, and then some of the other Antifa types join in?
Yeah, another bloke rammed a bike into my legs, and then someone leaned around him and punched me in the face, and I punched him back, and suddenly
it was on for young and old.
Raining on me.
How many times do you think you got hit?
Oh, dozens. I mean, I felt just punch in the back of the head while I was standing there before. That first stuff you've seen now, had even been filmed.
So just an Aussie, you just wanted to go to the rally to express your patriotism.
And I had stuff thrown at me, pouring on me, missiles thrown at me, like champagne or something sprayed on me.
And they were and the left-wingers were trying to drag you away, weren't they?
They were trying to, they tore my Australian shirt off in the end. I ended up with my bloody top on underneath. And
they ripped off your hoodie, as you're saying, and you had an Australian flag and they took your flag away.
That got snapped in half. The pole got snapped. I started to worry then because I had a weapon to use against me. And I had a few of those little Antifa ones encircling me, and it worried me when they got too close. So,
terrible.
How
long do you think the attack went on for?
Well, I've seen one of the videos was 2 minutes long, and then the other video around the corner, I was pretty dazed by then.
Because this was in front of the town hall, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was under the pergola bit at the front of the town hall.
There's some bald-headed guy who had like a...
Yeah.
Was he attacking you?
Yeah, he laid multiple punches into my ribs.
He seemed like a real piece of shit.
Yeah, and there was a big, tall, red-headed bloke that...
Have you gone to the authorities about it?
Yeah, I went and reported I rang on Tuesday morning to Burke Street. Well, actually went in straight afterwards and spoke to them, and they told me to go back and get my keys.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, I'll head back into where I was just assaulted by 24 people and retrieve my keys. Shall I? And he went, no worries. And then when I walked back there was 2 lines of police, and they went, you're not going anywhere near there. So I headed off home.
So you lost your keys?
Yeah. So I got a car out there that's got no keys. So.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, and my new car that I bought a couple of weeks ago with a new key for that stolen as well. So yeah.
So after you attacked, and you had a cut here because you sent me something. Tell us.
My lips were split open. I had a gash down my head there, and both sides of my head were bleeding, and received a punch to the temple, which was the one that
and
pretty
you've
much stunned me.
also, you went to hospital later and you had cracked ribs, is that right?
Yeah, I got fractured ribs.
And so what happened after the melee? Did you go to the rally or did you?
Yeah, I
after
marched.
even being beaten up,
I went
you
to the
went
rally.
marched.
Yeah, I went and
Did
marched.
people ask what the hell happened?
Oh yeah, many people asked what happened to me.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, unbelievable. Because I mean, I joined the march at Flinders Street Station and walked all the way up to Parliament House, you know, along Burke Street.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, there was a stage when I looked right from the top of Burke Street, and the Patriots were right down.
Yeah.
It was extraordinary. I don't know exactly how many. You know, people say 10, 20,000. Some people say 50. It was somewhere in there.
It was large. I wish I could really remember it properly. I think I was a bit concussed.
Were you a bit in shock? Were you concussed, were you think?
I was definitely concussed. I was throwing up on Wednesday. Still, the room's still a bit spinny and that. So I walked out of hospital. You know, I went to hospital on
So you
Sunday.
you enjoyed, you did the march. Did you stay around for some of the speeches? Or
I did. No, I was there till the very end, and then went and had to catch a cab home and get my new spare car key and go back in the city and pick up my car and drive back with broken ribs and stuff. And
where did you go to hospital?
Box Hill, about 8 o'clock.
Did you go that same day?
Yeah, Sunday night I went. Yeah, everything
tell
was
them what
starting to get stiff. Yeah.
And have the police noted your injuries or anything like that?
No, Tuesday I rang them and they said to come in and do a report. So I drove in Tuesday, which I probably shouldn't have because halfway there I was thinking I probably shouldn't be driving and that. And I got there and the officer behind the counter was, I could just see it in him. He felt for me, but there was nothing. He knew the people out the back were going to do nothing. And he was telling me, don't get your hopes up, don't get your hopes up. And he said they'll be very hard to recognise and stuff, you know. And I'm thinking, well, they got fucking Desi's. The dude with the Desi sign in 24 hours.
Yeah,
I mean, like, you know.
No, if they want to do something, they could.
They
mate.
do.
We all know they
mate,
don't.
You know, that's right. They don't want.
They leave the left alone. You know, they target. You know,
the right. Yeah.
They target the right, but they leave the left alone, and they can commit almost any kind of violent attacks on our streets. And it's not like the first time they've been violent. They constantly are, and they constantly intimidate people. Exactly. And that's one of the reasons their particular form of politics is not popular. You know, so after you did that. How'd you feel the next day? Like,
I was, I said I walked out of hospital 7 o'clock the next morning.
So they kept you overnight?
Home. No, I was in emergency all night. They did some chest X-rays about 9 o'clock, and then some CAT scans about 3:30 or 4 o'clock. And, excuse me. And then about 7 o'clock, I saw them doing changeover and stuff, and I just thought I'm going home because I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And so I went home, went to bed, and slept most of Monday, afternoon sort of thing, and. I know been a bit dizzy and woozy in that sense, but coming good now. I don't know. I've got a pretty tough head, so
from my experience, I kind of tried to keep an eye on what violence was going on. And you hear that cliche, mostly peaceful. From what I saw of it, it really was mostly peaceful.
I saw leftists running in and instigating all of it.
I did see a large group of Palestinian demonstrators, and I was heading in. But I didn't walk through them. I thought, I think I'll just go the next street up. You kept going. You got a lot of balls for doing that because I'll admit myself, I always thought, because I do this show.
Balls or stupidity.
I do the Sam Newman show. I thought if I walk through that, someone's going to beat me up for sure. So I just thought I'll just avoid them, right? But I think hats off to you because an Aussie shouldn't have to change what street you're walking down just because you're going to go to a rally.
Or
no one beats them up. No one beats a Palestinian demonstrator up. No one beats the Antifa guy up who wants to say, I think they're just about intimidation because most of the violence I saw was from the left.
Yep.
And they would stand and they were trying to intimidate people.
Yeah. I saw them running. I saw them actually running into the crowd and attempting to attack people.
Patriots or Aussie nationalists who wanted to maybe,
Exactly. They wanted to fight. They
they
went there wanting to fight.
There's always a few people who want to fight on both sides.
Exactly.
And there are little
There's dickheads on both sides. I mean, I'm not sitting there saying...
The only violence I saw was... in relation to this group, the NSN, the only violence I saw wasn't even necessarily violent, but it was when, and I saw it online, it was when Avi Emity tried to interview them, and obviously they don't want to talk to him.
Yeah.
So they got, a group of their supporters were say, time to go, and then the security, he's got these two giant, 7
It's all about publicity, though, that isn't it? Really?
It is. And unfortunately, that's what the media shows. It shows the scuffles.
They want to divide us, Rich.
But for a long time, For a long time, the mainstream media. Have you seen this on television? Your footage?
Well, I saw 5 seconds of it on Channel 9 and 10 News, which made me look like I was the one who was aggressive. It showed me being frog marched out of their crowd. And by that stage, I was only in my black undershirt, black shirt thing, T-shirt. And
so did you lose clothes?
They stripped my Aussie T-shirt off me.
You never got that back?
No, that disappeared into the
flag's
crowd.
Gone, your keys
flag's
gone.
Keys gone, I managed to get my black hoodie back, which is surprising because I think that's the thing that set them off. I mean, like, that's what I wear to work. It's not like it's a everyday occurrence for me to wear black. I mean, I don't.
So, obviously, what was your opinion of the rally itself? Do you think it was a success?
I think it was. I think hopefully Elbow heard the message, that the people are a little upset.
I think you saw a lot. There's a lot of working class
Not
people.
just Elbow, though. It's all the politicians. I mean, they all came out against us, calling us Nazis and stuff, and racists and all that sort of stuff. But
they've been doing that to Pauline Hanson for 30 years,
I find it a bit of a shame it's caused a division in the right, though. It's this Rise Up movement and this so-called racist movement.
Yeah, well, there always is division, and the whole thing. That guy Nick Fuentes is kind of America First commentator. He kind of chastised the NSN group. He called them like Nazi LARPers in the sense like if that group wanted to attend, well, just dress normally, wave the flag. Why do they got to dress up
themselves
and do the Hail Australia and have the kind of drum like it's a like it's a Nazi rally? You know what I mean? Like it's like these
propaganda. It's a psyop, mate. Some of it I think is a bit of a psyop.
You got to wonder, and look, I have no idea if this is true, but you have to wonder: is that group or is someone in that group?
It doesn't have to be the whole group.
It doesn't have to be the whole group. It only has to be are they feds?
Just to pull them together.
Is someone giving them bad advice about how to pull them together? Because optically, it's not a good look.
No.
And there was also, that attack upon the
Aboriginal.
That was not a good look, mate. Because essentially they weren't the only organisers of those protests.
But that's where these people that were attacking people and apparently what I've heard was damaging cars and stuff. Yeah, well, that's where they were running down when people were leaving with flags.
Because it seemed insane because essentially they were organisers of. They weren't the only organisers, but they were at least part of organising the Melbourne and Sydney events.
Yeah,
and that essentially they were huge successes. So why would you then go and do that? So I spoke to somebody. I know somebody who's not in that group but knows them.
I think it's more left infiltration again.
It could be, but they said that they had their cars vandalised and that group had attacked them further down the hill, and so then they had come up. So of course, which you never see on the media.
Definitely
we have no idea if that's true or not.
That's right.
But that's what I've heard.
Yeah, so I've heard the same thing, but whether it's true or not, it's a completely different kettle of fish, really, isn't it?
But I think really, though, we're dealing with 50 to 100, 50,000 people in Melbourne, probably 50,000 up to Sydney. Hundreds of thousands of people probably around Australia.
Australia-wide, it was a good turnout. What I saw on the.
I think Australians want to,
they want change.
That's right. And I don't really fully get, we all know what Australian is. It's Paul Hogan. It's it's Ernie Sigley. It's Graham Kennedy. It's Daryl Summers or whatever.
Paul Hogan.
Paul Hogan, exactly. We all know what an Aussie is. You know what I mean? Now I'm an Aussie and you're an Aussie, and I don't know. My family's been here since the 1850s, both sides. Yeah. I'm a Wollstonecroft and a Mackay. They're the two. My roots are originally in England and Scotland.
Yeah.
It's like I'm an Aussie. Like now, if I were to go to Japan, am I Japanese?
No,
I'm a fucking Aussie living in Japan.
Exactly.
Now I might have a Japanese passport. Fine.
Doesn't make you
I'm
Japanese.
not Japanese.
No, exactly.
So I don't understand. Exactly. There is something. But maybe if somebody had been here since 1850, if there'd been some Chinese person whose family had been in Australia since 1850, well, okay, then they'd probably also talk with an Aussie accent by then or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? There's something about how long you've been here, how long your family's been here, how well you've embraced our culture. You know what I mean? And we're essentially a European Christian culture. Obviously, the Aborigines are a little different, and they've had their thing, and we try and treat them with respect.
That's it.
What are your thoughts on all that?
Oh, no, I got a bit lost in there. The brain's not working. So
I know what you mean now. I waffled a bit too much. That's awesome.
But I've got.
So did you think did you think they were a success, the rallies?
I do. I said I got nothing against any other race of people or anything like that. I just wanted to get my way through life peacefully, mate. That's all I want. I treat people how I want to be treated, mate. You know, I mean, you treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. But if you don't, I'm going to mirror the exact same bloody behaviour you give me. I mean, that's how I am in life. Like,
and so you had a visit from the police this morning.
I did.
What happened there? Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, apparently I posted something that about returning each week until they kill me. I think something along them lines, and they weren't too happy with that. No. So but the thing is,
what do they do? They give you a warning, or what do they do?
Not really give me anything. Just sort of spoke to me.
They just chat to you,
as I said, I went there Tuesday, and then Wednesday they finally actually took a report from me. So Wednesday,
so they have actually taken
a report on Wednesday morning. They finally did. But then that's it. They've taken a report and no one else has spoken to me. So today, when 3 detectives rolled up, was the first time anyone's spoken to me about this incident from the police force. So,
and what do you think of, I mean, there's all these kind of, weird machete attacks going on. There's all this kind of crime connected to ethnic youth gangs in Melbourne. What do you think about that, man?
Yeah, well, I've had my share of African problems as well.
So you've got this is interesting, and you haven't spoken about this before. You've actually had some actual hands-on experience with dealing with these kind of rap bags. Do you want to? I mean, you don't have to go into too many details, but just say whatever you'd like to say about that.
Yeah, no, I suffered drug addiction for a lot of years, and got off it just before my mum died, and my daughter unfortunately stepped into my shoes when my mum died, and this African's been selling her sort of thing, and
pimping around.
broken her phone and several phones, and stole her car and smashed her car, and she was here hiding from him, and she didn't tell me she was hiding from him. Like, she's tried to keep a lot of this from me because
of course.
What's going on, and especially my father. I live here with my 86-year-old father, so that
we met before. Charming gentleman.
Yeah, he's a good old
bloke, good old stick, as the saying goes.
Yeah, he's an old opera, mate.
Yeah,
from way back.
Yeah,
but, and I went to bed that Saturday night and woke up Sunday morning, the phone blaring, and this African bloke telling me that he hasn't seen my daughter since she abandoned him 12 hours ago and stuff. And
he doesn't know now. Who does he think he is?
And he was ringing to make sure she's all right, and I told him to fuck off and not call again, and might have used a few other words amongst there. And
colourful language, you could say.
Yeah. At 4:30 on a Sunday morning, I wasn't too happy about being woken up on my only day off. So 4:30 is a time I get up for work every morning. So I really.
So you're a butcher.
Butcher by trade. Yeah.
We won't say where or anything, but
well, I've actually quit work 2 weeks ago to deal with this
all this
problem that's going on at the moment. But he rolled up and
so he came here to the house.
Yeah, he came into the house at 5 o'clock Sunday morning.
5 o'clock Sunday morning. Early bird, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Just out of church.
Yeah. Well, that was just after the phone calls. I disconnected the phones and everything, and because he couldn't ring anymore,
what was he trying to do? Break in?
Well, he tried to open our front door and walk in.
Doing home invasion.
Trying to get
That's
to
what they like to do, isn't it?
Yeah, they do, apparently.
Cocksuckers.
But he was after my daughter. So
unbelievable.
So anyways,
unbelievable.
I opened the door and he was standing there.
Somalian,
Yes, Sudanese, I'd say. He was over 6 foot
Sudanese
tall.
pimp.
I mean, I've got some rough pictures I can show you later. But anyways, I opened the door and I was holding one of my steak knives, and he goes, "Put the knife down and come outside."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, I'll come outside, but the knife's coming with me."
Yeah.
And so I went to open the door, and the door that's always open was locked. And so my daughter was aware that he was in the area, I think, and because I didn't know he knew where I lived. So I went to bed unaware of anything wrong. And so anyways, when I realised the door was locked, I said, "Hang on a sec, I'll go and get a bigger knife." And I went and got my meat cleaver and a 15-inch steak knife and put my work boots on and said, "Now I'm coming out." And I marched him off my property. And when we got to the pavement, I said, "Step back on now." And he's going step off, step on, step off, all that sort of crap. And I called him a word that he really didn't appreciate.
Yes,
and he
started colourful language, possibly.
And and he started tap dancing and pulled his stocking mask off and his cap that he was wearing and threw them on the ground and said, "Call me that again." And he started calling me white, this and that. And,
of course he does.
And so I said, "It's okay for you to call
Hates
us
white.
white."
People,
I said,
they hate white people.
I said, "When you black bastards call us white," and he started reaching for his coat when I said that, and I swung the blade at him, and he realised I wasn't joking. So he sort of stepped back, and I reached down and picked up his stocking mask and his cap and said, "Thanks for the DNA, dickhead," and put it in my pocket. And he went absolutely crazy when I did that.
Yeah.
And he picked up a pot plant and threatened to smash my car with a pot plant. And
he threw it at you?
Yeah, ended up throwing it at me. Yeah.
Let's have a look at it, because last time I caught up with you.
It's still.
I caught up with you before.
They ripped that open on the weekend.
This was a lot bigger. This is.
Yeah, that was.
So that was from this pot plant that this animal threw at you.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So finally, did he fuck off?
Yeah, no, I chased him up the road and again, and so I thought I'm not chasing him into the dark in the middle of the night.
No, of course not. Why should you?
So I walked
Did you go to the police about it?
No, well, I walked back down and he followed me back down the hill again, taunting me.
So he just kept harassing you, but he finally went away?
No, he didn't. No. He just sat there, and I said, "Well, I'll sit here for hours with you." I said, "I'll stand at benches all day with knives in my hands, so I'll stand here for hours with you." And I said, "Or until the police arrive." And
did they come?
And I said, and he said, "You won't call the police," because he knows I've got a bit of a history in that. And I said, "I won't, but the neighbours will." And suddenly the police top of the hill lit up, and now I went, and here they are now. And he got up and ran over and hid in the neighbour's backyard.
Woodpile, possibly.
Yeah, maybe.
You could have had a look in there for him, mate.
They could have. No, they
hide in the wood piles, I've heard.
They didn't even shine a torch in the backyard, mate. They didn't.
No. Should have checked the wood piles,
they should have checked the
You never know.
I've heard rumours they do hide there.
Just a psychic feeling.
But anyways, the cops come down the hill, and I was holding a meat cleaver and a steak knife, and they ordered me to drop the weapons.
You're doing a cooking course on the street?
Yeah, well,
bit of sashimi?
Offered to chop up something for him.
Yeah, of course. Vitamin for a steak?
Yeah. But,
so did they, I mean, in this day and age, they probably arrested you, right?
They marched me back up to my property away from the place I told him he was hiding in, and then brought my weapons up. Yeah. And they started photographing the balaclava and the weapons, and so I got my father to get them inside because I knew they were going to try and take my knives. So, anyways, and then the copper who refused to look, he went and looked at the car down the hill with Jew on it and 2 cars up the hill that didn't have, that belonged there as well. And I'm going, he's in the number 22, he's in the backyard of 22, and they refused. And so they drove away, and I look up, making a coffee just there, and I look up, and there he is standing on my patio again.
Back again?
Back again. So, about 15, 20 minutes after they left, he was back again.
So did he fuck off eventually?
No.
Well, he's not here now, so he must have fucked off at some stage.
Well, the police eventually...
he's not hiding under the table.
No, I'm thinking, well, he's threatened to come back a lot of times.
Yeah,
but
he hasn't so far.
No, he hasn't.
Yeah.
But
that's good news.
I got told this morning by the detectives that he actually has been charged with this offence against me now. Like the detective who's took the report.
Well, that's good.
Hasn't ever contacted me since, so I've got no idea.
Because it's not like this is the only, this is just one of hundreds of incidents, thousands even you hear across Australia.
I mean,
we had Mick Malthouse being attacked
recently,
in his own. That was in the last 24 hours. I sent that to Sam. I mean, they're starting to attack, footy legends. It's terrible.
All around the same time.
And he chased them off, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did.
Was he got a metal bar or something?
He chased them off.
But what do you think of these castle
he got the
laws?
crowbar off them. I mean, they're cowards. Once you stand up to them, they're used to you folding.
They're pieces of shit. We didn't have this home invasion stuff in the 70s and 80s. Never.
I do recall one a couple of streets over when we were real young.
Wow, look, like one once a year, fine, whatever.
Mate, but that was no, not even that. I mean,
exactly.
It
just didn't happen.
I knew of it because it was so rare.
We never had machete crime.
Never.
Until probably 15 years ago.
When we grew up, if you had a problem with someone, you stood toe-to-toe with them and the better man won, mate. And you'd buy a beer down the pub with them the next week because it was usually about bullshit, you know?
Well, Aussies have always been brawlers to some extent, and we've always played tough sports like footy and, cricket's not so tough, but still, they still have the odd brawl there too, mate. The way the Australian
ball will give you a decent knock.
Well, my dad was a big, footy player, and, his mates were always, getting a biff on. One of his mates was called Snapper. His name was Snapper because he liked when the umpire wasn't looking.
Give you one in the
opposition would get one in the,
That's it.
But one in the back of the head, he'd punch him in the face.
Yeah, that's it.
But only if they had, It was just the
That's
culture.
how it was, and I mean,
and it wasn't toxic masculinity. It was great.
That's it, and it was. What is it? What do they call it now? Is it? Well, I don't know what they.
Well, I don't know what they call it now, but I mean,
not
Sam,
much into sports anymore.
Sam Newman on You Can't Be Serious always talks about how, and also Wayne Kerr, they always talk about how the game's been used.
Sledging, pretty much, whatever they call it.
Exactly. And you can't even say certain things now because, like, Chuck, I'll give you a 10-week ban for
that's it.
saying the F word, or definitely the N word. Well, probably it's the whole season.
And all these gay slurs now. Exactly. I mean, Christ.
Everyone used to use that.
Calling someone cocksucker was one of my favourite words growing up. And I mean, apparently that's a gay slur now. I mean,
you can't even call someone a cocksucker these days on the sports field. No. It's just a sledge. You don't mean it. You don't mean they're actually out sucking off. It's just you're just sledging them. It's being silly. Anyway, so you had this incident. You reported to the police.
Yeah. He came back anyways to my house, and anyway, I rang the police again.
Have you filed for a restraining order?
Yeah, that's in 2 months' time, the court case for that.
Oh, so, that's good news.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, it's
instated.
You want to
name this person or best not to?
Well, I'll name him. No,
best not to. We're getting to know from
the
executive producer over here. So
I've already named him online anyway.
You've named him online, good. Yeah, so people want to find out what's going on.
They can track me up and find him on there, yeah.
So your presence on social media is Facebook?
Yeah, just pretty much Facebook. I do have all the others, but I don't really use them.
Of the new right, websites have begun to cover. Because I was amazed that no one covered the story straight away.
Yeah, I know.
So one of the reasons I wanted to come and do this interview today, because I thought someone should sit down and interview you.
I was disgusted the way I was portrayed as the aggressor when I was marched out of the crowd. That's what really, really burned me. That I'm being made out to be a racist. I mean, I'm very far from a racist, mate. I got gay relatives. I've got freaking Arab friends. I got.
I do as well. I used to run nightclubs. I have gay friends. I have multicultural friends.
I don't care who you are, mate. I don't care what colour you are.
All of them embrace Australian values, and even people like the gay people I know, they don't believe it should be taught in schools, or that children should be groomed with these ideas.
I got no problem with the LGBT part of it.
Should be allowed to to make the decision themselves without the state or the education department intervening. Yeah. Or the teachers or whatever.
Exactly. I got no problem with the LGBT part of it, but the rest of the letters added on, mate, then, fuck them. I mean, I'm over it, mate.
We don't need to get into that, mate.
No, but I'm just, to me, it's just, they're the people who attack me, mate. That's the thing.
That's right. So there's another rally coming up August 31. What do you think about it?
Definitely be there, mate.
You're going to be there, mate?
Oh, yeah, with bells on,
I'll see you there, mate. But I'll tell you what, if you see the Antifa people and the thing, maybe walk around. Unless you've got Arvy's security. Maybe Arvy Yemeni can lend us a few 7-foot monsters that he travels around
IDF.
And then we could all walk you through in peace. Maybe we should walk you through with a whole bunch of security, just to make a point, right? But look, it's a pleasure talking to you, and it's great to be back in Lower Templestowe, where I grew up. Back in the hood, ladies and gentlemen, talking to my old mate.
Don't be messing with the Lower Templestowe eyes.
That's right, the Lower Templestowe Massive. Yeah. Don't mess with us. And we're back. It's a pleasure talking to you, and we'll talk again, mate.
Good catching up, Richard.
Good on you, mate. Cheers, Dave.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, everybody.